down here in the bottom left of Lost and Found. It is our Korean Protoss two-time world champion. It is SOS. Of course, from the strongest team on Earth in Jin Air Greenwings. If only they could recruit this man in the top right from ENCE. It is Serral.
And Serral, we've seen him against Protoss play a little bit of different styles at times. You know, we've seen him kind of skip roaches, sometimes go straight into Hydralisk and Banelings. He's a difficult opponent to kind of trick and do damage to with, you know, Adept's timings, Zealot's timings and all that. But SOS is one of these players that's one of the absolute best at cannon rushing, and he's going to go for one of these here against Serral. Will Serral be ready for this? Does he even kind of expect that this could be coming? He's going to be seeing it, I think, and realizing what's happening pretty early, but SOS, we've seen...
Can you stop that, though? Yeah. Like, even if you see it coming, that doesn't mean you're going to stop it, especially when it's coming out of someone like SOS. Look at this, the pylon go down immediately. How strongly will Serral react here? He actually doesn't see the pylon, but he turns the Overlord around and will scout it.
And here's the thing, this could still be a fake. Now he sees the second probe, he should know this is not a fake. How does Serral react? Does he send another drone out on the map to start another hatchery? Does he pull a lot of drones? He's gonna get right in there inside of that area to make sure he doesn't let the probe stop that many cannons too easily.
Well,
trapped out? No, it's not. Oh my god, what a ninja.
Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, he can get in here and cancel these, can't he?
Yeah.
That's a lot of drones.
Oh, he's looking good so far, but the SOS will start more cannons here.
Yeah, can he actually end up stopping all of these? If he can, SOS is going to be in some real serious trouble.
This is looking pretty terrible for SOS right now. I think there's so many drones.
This is almost every drone. How many drones are actually mining minerals right now? 3. That's not very many.
Yeah, but as soon as he's defended this, he can start mining again. Oh. Even that one drone survives, the probe didn't attack it.
Wow.
What a defense.
Okay, so... Okay, I'm really a little bit caught off guard here. Obviously, yeah, there's a dip in income, but the amount of cannons that were built and canceled, and then there's like also the 2 pylons, and also his Nexus is really late, and also he didn't kill any drones,
with
and
the 2
also
points finishing now, Serral has to be quite a bit ahead.
This is weird for me that because I looked at this coming in and thought, you know what, this works for Haas so well, but SOS is just such a smooth player. He should be able to make this really work. If Haas makes it work, SOS is going to make it super work, whatever that means, right? But that was a failure.
Yeah. I think you got it upside down. If SOS can maybe sometime make this work and make it look strong, then that's for Haas that is really good. But to be honest,
you go.
They got different brands of cannon rushes, right?
That's
Haas
true.
is more like the 12 pylons, 1 cannon type.
Yeah, and he's the 12 cannons, 1 pylon type of guy. You're right. Oh my gosh.
And in this case, Serral, I really like his position now. I think he's gonna completely take off in terms of worker counts without being threatened anytime soon. Like the tech for SOS, look, his Cybercore is not even finished yet.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a little bit late, no doubt about it. Third base coming up for Serral. What do you do here as SOS though? Let's try to brainstorm for a moment.
I think he just picks one route, you know, either maybe something like Adepts or Stargate, and then tries to kind of play standard and fix something. He doesn't have to commit to a massive attack, I think. It's not like he's that far behind. Just take a third and then somewhere in there try again to do an attack that will trick Serral, but it's going to be so hard. Because Serral, even like, he doesn't even need to scout that much. He's just so good mechanically that he will reach the ideal drone count that he wants, and then he'll start pumping out units. With Hydralisks, Banes, Roaches, if he really feels threatened, which in this game is not going to be the case, I think.
Yeah. Well, Twilight going up, and actually a Stalker pops out to chase this Overlord away. This is really interesting. Where he built the Stargate, the Zergling didn't see it, and we actually saw him pull the Zergling away, and he's searching the map right now. Serral thinks that there's a proxy. Did the Overlord actually see that?
I think he saw the Twilight, yeah.
He saw the Twilight?
Yeah.
Okay, so he sees the Twilight, but he did not see the Stargate. What does this tell us, right? That
he's not going to get Spore.
He might not. Like, when you see the Twilight, you have to be like, well, it's SOS, maybe DTs, but... I mean, obviously that would be quite a bit later as well.
Yeah, but it's not an Oracle, it's a Phoenix.
Well, I think he's going charge lot all in, I'm pretty sure.
Or he could get Prism and drop it on top of the ramp after he's cleared the whole map with Phoenixes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe have some sentries as well, but yeah, he's going charge lots.
Yeah, he's going to push back.
He's only on 2 gases. How much gas?
Yeah, plus 7 gates. Okay, we're going 8 gate charge lock.
Wow. How much gas is he mining?
Like almost
in the main base. Yeah,
4 probes.
Yeah, 1 and 3.
4 probes.
Oof. Okay. So like I said, Serral is very hard to catch with this kind of attacks. Usually we'll have enough to defend, and in this case he's going for roaches. I think that if he had skipped roaches, yeah, that would have been scarier, but the fact that he's already going roaches and Glider Reconstitution is already starting, and even the creep and vision that he has on the map. Look at the vision of Serral right now.
It is good, but that's why you have a Phoenix, right? You're going to find the path of least resistance. You're going to try to get in there without being scouted.
But that's why you got wins.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, it's Serral, so he might have seen that, but only flicked on his vision for a moment.
Oh my god, he's gonna spot this. Serral! Madman. Yeah, he sees this, and like from there, you just press the R button and just mass roach.
You just hold it down the whole time,
Just go full pig.
Yeah.
More roaches.
Well, I mean, I don't think that this charge all-in is going to work out. Let's see.
Autosis.
Yes.
Look at his supply. 116 to 70. It's very common with roaches to get quite a bit ahead, but in this case, all Serral has to do is kite really well as well. If he kites well here, he shouldn't even take that much damage.
Yeah, this is not looking too good from SOS. He does charge in here, but going to fall pretty quickly.
I think he lost 4 roaches.
About that. About that. Well, if you fail a cannon rush, you're in trouble no matter what. But if you fail a cannon rush against Serral, you're super in trouble no matter what, okay?
I think that's why, like, I mean, it's an impossible choice, right? I was saying he should just try and play standard, not to overcommit to an attack. He chose the other route of playing very aggressive. Against Serral, it's just so hard to break it. There is no right choice, right? If you sit back and you macro, he's gonna have such an economic advantage that you're still gonna be extremely far behind, and you're gonna fall apart when he starts being the one that attacks, whereas you're trying to macro and take more bases and take more.
You know, I gotta say, I'm just a little bit surprised that when he did this cannon rush, like, he didn't get a wall up behind the mineral patches. Like, Lost and Found is a great map for cannon rushes. There's no doubt about that. But he was kind of slow on executing it properly. Was he overconfident?
Yeah, I think so. Like, because he could have made the pylons, like you said, on the right side of that first cannon. And then once that one's covered, you can start more and more, and then make sure you kill that base. The problem with that is that it would have been down the ramp to where if there's a spine crawler with a crypt tumor up there, it kills everything. Yeah. So maybe that's what motivated him, but I think he was like looking too far ahead. He needed to take out that expo with that opener.
Well, if you don't, then you're just so far behind. And then he even like I can't finish. 2 cannons actually died there. I guess 1 while it was warping in. But man, just not the opening SOS was looking for here. You know, he is coming in as a little bit of an underdog. He hasn't had the most stellar year over in Korea. But it's a tournament he normally excels in, so even though that was kind of a sloppy first game from him, we should not be counting him out yet.
You know, this is their first encounter ever in the tournament, by the way. They've never met, And we get it here, a world premiere at the Global Finals.
The old champion versus possibly the new here in Serral. Let's see, we're going into map number 2 on Blue Shift. In the top right, our Protoss champion, it is SOS. And in the bottom left, from Finland, none other than Serral.
Pylon down the ramp here, already going down for SOS. We'll see if he chooses to go for a similar Forge opener. I mean,
I'd be pretty surprised, man, if he does that. Yeah. Again. Like, Lost and Found is probably the best map for it, right?
Yeah.
Oh!
Ooh, just a little too late here.
Yeah, look at that, the 14 hatch.
And that's the whole point of scouting this early as well, is to block this.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the European Zergs, though, actually will go a slightly earlier hatch now just to stop the Protosses from doing that. Whereas I feel like a lot of the Korean Zergs are a little bit more stubborn about it, so the Korean Protosses, you know, they're used to blocking that hatch. So far, nothing's really worked out as SOS envisioned in the early game.
He's doing a good job here preventing the drones from mining when they want to and kind of forcing them away from the patches that they were on. But yeah, it's making him look on this side of the map, I guess, for a little bit. He's definitely good enough to start everything on time back at home, and I expect this Nexus to go down here in a second. But like I said, catching Serral off guard with something, it feels like that's what you need to do. If you just play straight up, it's honestly borderline impossible to beat this guy. And
you know, you're pretty right about that. Like, the only Protoss we've seriously seen go toe-to-toe with him is Stats from the GSL versus the World Finals. And the thing is, Stats is like the ultimate standard Protoss, whereas SOS, he can play a very good standard game, but he needs a little bit of shenanigans in him. He needs a something else.
I think that Classic actually could do well maybe against Serral as well. Like, they've had some epic games in the past too.
Sure.
But yeah, remember, Zest is awaiting the winner of this match as well, so potentially another Protoss for Serral here if he was to win. If I was a Protoss player and I was waiting here in the winner's match, I'd be like, oh my god, please SOS, do it.
Yeah, please, please. Well, you know, you say that, but SOS is also the greatest Protoss versus Protoss player in the history of Earth. So that could be a tough one either way. Yeah, of Earth. That's right, the whole Earth.
In the universe.
In the universe, probably. Thing is, the universe is a big place. There might be another alien SOS out there somewhere.
I mean, Nesty has to manage all of it, right?
Yeah. But he couldn't imagine anything more wonderful than the PvP of this man. So a Robo coming up here from SOS. I like it. This is the type of opening that I think you can be very sneaky with against Serral, right?
Yeah, especially like it's very well hidden in the back of his base. I don't think Serral should be able to spot it unless SOS really messes up, so...
Well, you know, as the Stalker pops out, you're gonna really be like, okay, are you skipping Stargate here? That's normally what it means. It's gonna take him a while to get over there.
So a Prism is starting, so I expect additional gateways to start in a moment, at least usually 2 or 3 more. And then SOS, he can choose what to go into, and I think the choice a lot of the time is going to be Adepts. But we've seen crazy things, like a lot of Stalkers being made, but in this case, with the Link speed about to finish, I think it would be really bad for him to go for something like this.
Well, what is this exactly? Is this going to be like a gateway on? He hasn't added the gateways. I could see this just being light Prism harassment.
Yeah, it's
into
like
a third base or something? Yeah.
He wants him to see the Prism and stop making drones and mass units, but he's actually not going for units. And Link's now getting Serral. Gonna be the one that finds damage.
Oops. That is definitely not something that SOS was looking forward to. These Lings doing some great work right there. Lost mining time and 2 probes.
And their work is done here. They just get on right out of that wall.
Well, he might need every single unit he has. The Prism's staying around at home, so it looks like he's going to pick up the Immortal and do some harassment with that. We've definitely seen this in the past, and some gateways are being added as well.
What does he have in the Prism? Is he like 1 sentry or something?
Nothing right now.
Oh, he left a sentry at home. Some Adepts being sent across the map. And Serral, he's making sure he doesn't underreact to this. Roach Run on the way, he's getting links, he's still squeezing in a couple drones here and there. Lair now starting as well.
Yeah, these Adepts throwing their shades out, trying to find some drones, trying to find some damage, unable to do so at the moment, but he's going to have to bring the Prism home pretty soon anyways. You know, he's getting his second Immortal, continuing to warp in some sentries. I just wonder how many gates he's going to go up to with this. Is this going to be like a full committal? Yeah, he's going up to 6 gates, he's making Immortals, all right.
I was wondering if it might be a fake, but apparently not. You know, he could have just taken a third, like if you look at the worker count, SOS not doing too bad there. He could just take a third base, tech, you know, get a Twilight Council, something, Robo Bay if he really wants to get crazy, but it looks like maybe he's trying to pretend right now that it's a fake. So he lures Serral,
it's a fake of a fake.
Yeah, into a sense of security. And then Serral is like, oh, okay, I'm in the clear. He was just faking it. He's just going to take 1 more base. But no, then that's when the Soul Train with the Sentries and Immortals.
Well, that is exactly what we're watching right here, isn't it? 6 Sentries and 2 Immortals out already. Serral definitely going to have to take this very seriously. If you miss micro at all against this, it will kill you.
He needs Ravagers. That's the big thing. In Legacy of the Void, we've got Ravagers to really remove those force fields and help a lot with those fights, and that's what he's going to need here. Look at this, Serral is massing units. He's making sure he doesn't die to this push here that he sees coming.
Well, this is always so all-in, right? Because if the sentries don't end up working out, you don't really have a third, you don't have upgrades going. You're in just such a tough spot. Now, he is adding some buildings. Oh my god, he almost loses that Prism.
6 health.
That is brutal. The Prism this low, you can't even really use it during the battle.
He's going to have to wait for a little bit to let that regenerate. Some of the shields. One Ling here is trying to spot the third. Serral is so on point. Like, he's trying to find out exactly what's happening, and every time, I feel like SOS might not even be sure, you know, like obviously he started the Twilight Council and the Forge, which kind of makes him lean towards taking a third base. But it's...
Well, it looks like he
wants
just
to
is.
attack, but he just can't, right?
Yeah, I think that everything has just kind of not quite worked for SOS, and he doesn't want to just throw this game away with an attack like the last game.
Oh god.
So he's like, all right, I guess we keep going.
The interception.
Oh my gosh. These queens are trying. Look at them tippy-toe. They don't want to work the prism. Very quietly coming over trying to catch it.
One of them revealed.
Yeah. Got a little bit overexcited right there. Prism continuing to take a bit of damage. Third base is on the way.
And still more gates as well. So with the Templar Archives, does he maybe go for Archons and then just get a ton of Immortals and Archons to try and fight?
That has to be it, right? Like, he has forced a decent amount of army out of Serral, so it's not like Serral has an unstoppable drone count. He's only at 56 right now, right? So this is still very doable for SOS. His army is only getting stronger, and don't forget, just because he didn't attack with this doesn't mean that this attack won't be deadly. He's got way more energy on his sentries now.
And one thing that Serral has going in his favor, and that hasn't been pushed back at all, is the creep. The creep spread is almost at the middle of the map. That's going to help him a lot. Get a very quick engagement on creep with a lot of units. He's morphing in 13 Banelings as he sees this big move out here from SOS. Force fields are going to be dangerous. Even though there's Ravagers, you know, it takes time to remove those force fields, so if you land some perfect one, but I mean, if you look at the army of SOS, it's a lot of charge loss against a lot of Banelings, so it's going to be tough for him to take a really good fight.
He's going to have to hit perfect force fields here. He does throw down some pretty decent ones. Oh, God, some of the sentries already falling. Oh, my God, great Banelings coming in. And SOS getting demolished right now. Absolutely nothing working out for him.
Serral perfectly set up defensively, gets the clean 2-0.
Okay.
I'm not so worried anymore all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, I did not expect it to look like that. Okay, SOS is such a beast and so tricky, but both of these games were like him falling flat on his face after stepping on a rake and falling down a set of stairs. Like,
Serral pushed him though.
I tell you, Todd, I was really excited for this series, but Serral just completely dominating, completely.
I'm so glad I sat on the couch. This is going to be an epic series, and we're going to get some great games out of this one. I couldn't have been more wrong. Serral just dominates. And Zest has to be worried, actually, about that winner's match now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess he saw some things that don't work from SOS, so at least a few hints for him for later today. But Serral moves on to that winner match. Of course, SOS will be playing against Hero Marine next. And guys, let's go ahead over to Claris and the boys and see what they think about that dominating victory.
Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the analysis kind of corner thing we've got going on here. We were barely even here.
That's what they call it.
That's right. We were barely even here. We kind of had a little bit of a jog back over because we didn't expect that to end as early as it did. What on earth went down there?
I mean, that was we were kind of saying, you know, Serral's favored on paper, but maybe SOS crumples the paper up. Well, no, he didn't. He did the cannon rush didn't work out there at all, and Serral was just dominating. He scouted, he reacted, he stomped.
Listen, I host a show with my good friend Artosis called The Pylon Show. We have our different opinions. Artosis has the opinion that SOS would do really well here, and he's going to win the tournament. All this stuff. Just put it away, okay? Serral took that and made him look like a clown. All right, that was like one of the easiest matches I've seen on this stage since Lilbo, which is a name we don't mention very often. That was amazing. Serral destroyed him. It was very good.
Definitely did, Nick.
I think we saw SOS do try to open up, being creative, being deceptive, which has worked before. But if you don't pull off the initial first few steps, you're probably not going to win.
Thanks.
You guys aren't trying to be elegant about this. I'm fired up, man. He tore into him a little bit, all right?
He sort of did. I mean, let's say, with the cannon rush, obviously, it really did not work out that well at all, looking back at it now.
I mean, he didn't get the wall off up, and that's what this sort of cannon rush especially, you've got to get that third pylon up to block it off, and if you don't get that up, then you're in trouble, and, you know, maybe SOS could have started transitioning, but once you're building cannons in the open, we see the surface area.
Desperation.
The drone surrounds were good, and exactly, desperation. That's an older style of cannon rush, and I was like, ooh, are we going to learn something? People don't do this style anymore. Normally they go the gateway with it, and they kind of do the surprise instant wall off all at once. But SOS, I mean, he starts the wall off. He's like, I don't have enough minerals. There's drones in there, and it just fell apart. So we learned nothing in that game other than Serral's cannon rush defense is getting a lot better. That's all.
It just seems like Serral doesn't have any weaknesses whatsoever. You
Not
know,
that serious.
he's just able to handle basically everything. And I think SOS. I mean, I don't think his story's done yet, of course, but we're getting to a point where really Serral seems to be impervious to almost any kind of trickery at all.
Well, gents, I mean, we can talk about it in a few moments' time as we're going to hear from Serral, who is with Hajison.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Serral, and it looked really easy for you, Serral. How do you feel?
I feel good, obviously, but to be honest, I still have 1 match left, so I'm not celebrating too much just yet.
But did you expect that going that well for you?
Actually, I felt like SOS was probably the most scary player out of my group because he has so many tricks. But I don't know, this series I kind of just, last second game I got my links through. First game was whatever it was, but I think I got a bit lucky and I got a very good read. So yeah, that's why it looked pretty easy, I guess.
Okay, and this year you had a fantastic run. You've won it all, and now this is WCS Global Finals, the final step. Is there any player that you want to avoid until the finals?
Not really. I'm fine with anyone.
What do you think of Maru? I'm really curious about that.
He's a good player.
You don't want to add anything? Like, just a good player. He's like average.
I mean, Maru is probably the best player in the world. So, I mean, obviously it's scary, but I'm not too worried.
Okay, good to hear. And now you're going against Zest next game, and your head-to-head score 3-0. So do you feel pretty confident about that game?
Yeah, I'm going confident against Zest. I have a very good record against them, and I think I can keep that record up. And I mean, obviously it's very good players. I know, but I'm going very confident.
Okay, well, congratulations again, and thank you so much for the interview. Calories, back to you.
Thank you very much, guys. I feel like we're stuck in some weird rom-com where neither Serral nor Maru want to really talk about one another and then bashfully kind of approach one another later on. What is...
Serral's even funnier about it, though, because Maru's like deadpan, like, who are the other great players? He's like, oh, Rogan TY. And we're like, oh, okay. But with Serral, it's like, who you want? She's like, who you want in the finals? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, what about Maru? And he's like, I guess. He's got the smile because you know that we want him to be like, oh, yeah. Maru, man, I want that guy. But instead he's like, I just want to win. Whatever it is.
I mean, it was something to extrapolate from what we heard from Serral just there. He mentioned that SOS was one of the guys that he was a little bit wary of coming into this group. And I think that's a fair statement. He's a guy that can throw absolutely anything at you, just unfortunately kind of threw a wet fish the way of Serral in this game, and it really didn't work out.
He broke it down nicely, though. He talked about how it's just, with the way SOS plays, if it gets caught out, if there's just, as Pig pointed out, if you're just missing a couple of minerals and don't fully wall off, the entire build kind of falls on its face, and when you're playing a guy like Serral, there is no coming back from that. It's also the PvZ matchup a little bit, by the way, too. If you're going to be a trickster Protoss, and you do these kind of unforgiving styles, if a Warp Prism gets picked off, or all of a sudden a pylon doesn't finish, that can just be the end of it. And that's kind of what we saw. So for me, we have our laughs. It looks good for Serral, but I'm not, like, SOS still has a really good chance to make it out of this group. I still think he can.
Sure.
Will.
I mean, even in that last engagement there towards the end, even some Banelings kind of trickling through, getting through all the force field walls that were going down. Everything was really not going SOS's way at all.
You know, it was a cool style from SOS. So just to talk about that a little bit more, it's this kind of like, when you play the Robo, there's the constant threat of when's the Protoss going to push.
Sure.
And Serral said, you know, my Lings got in. He's like, I did some damage, I slowed him down, and he just played so safe from there. It was like very heavy on the Ravages and stuff. So I think Serral, if we want to identify his specialty, it's once he identifies things with scouting. And he's so good at poking around and seeing everything. So Serral saw exactly what SOS was up to. He reacted very well. He didn't over-drone. He didn't play greedy. He really respects every single one of his opponents. And it's not just a joke when he says this in his interviews. He's always like, look, these are all very good players.
Absolutely.
I know they're all a huge challenge. And you see it because he's always checking for tricks. He's confirming and double scouting and kind of checking exactly what's going on. So he's always adapting on the fly as well. And that's why these games, it's not like, oh, it's just over at a certain point. No, he keeps checking and adjusting and adapting. And that's why he keeps cementing his lead in these matches.
I mean, since before the WCS Austin qualifiers, he was 47-0 up until that point where he lost that series against Neeb. I I think it's good to see, especially in this matchup, they're very different opponents, Nick, but it's good to see that Serral's come in strong, very confident, calm and collected into his first series.
Yeah, I think we saw earlier that, okay, he can bleed, he can lose, but yeah, clearly against SOS, he swats down anything that SOS is going to try, as you were saying, Pick, scouts everything, denies everything, and then plays the perfect game and closes it out.